Hey everyone, welcome back to Sweet Yellow House. In this video we are finishing up our last minute Christmas decor, and before I forget, if I haven't told you, I do have a second channel that is called Inside Sweet Yellow House. So if you haven't subscribed or gone to check it out, please do. It helps me out so much. So with project 1, let's get started. And this is a Santa sleigh, and it's very dusty from being stored. I did do a black coat over this, and I believe it was spray paint, but because it was stored for a long while, I do have some chips in that, so I'm just going to go back over it with this shabby chic chalk paint and just cover up those chips. Using my heat gun to dry that paint, I'm gonna then move on to the Carnival Red from DIY Paint. I was just kind of wondering what I was gonna do with this, so I went with the obvious, and I just decided that I was gonna paint the whole thing with this Carnival Red, doing several coats just to cover up that black. I did dry those coats in between with my heat gun, just so that I could kind of see where I needed to touch up and kind of finish that up, so I got full coverage. After I was done with that, I figured out finally what I was going to do. So I grabbed the gilding size from Amy Howard's At Home. And using this, I'm just going to go over those raised areas on that sleigh. So just the highlighted raised areas I'm going to do on the sleigh part. And then I'm also going to do the, I don't know what you call those, the ski part, the ski part of the sleigh, I guess is what you call it. Somebody let me know what those are called. I'm not sure. So I'm just going to go again, like I said, over the raised parts and then over the bottom part of that. And then I'm just going to let that size set up. And once it becomes clear and tacky, I'm going to move on to applying the gold gilding gold leaf on there. And this is also Amy Howard's At Home gold leafing. I really like this. It's a really nice gold leaf. It's really shiny and pretty, and the color of it I do enjoy. So I just cut those into strips so it becomes easier for me to handle, and I'm just gonna start applying that over that sizing. Using a brush, I'm just pushing that down into place. I'm not really kind of doing anything other than using a small brush to get that down into the details. I'm not worried about taking off pretty much anything. I just want to make sure that I have that gold leafing on all of that sizing that's there. You can tell when the sizing's there because it does take on a little bit of a shine. So for me, once I got everything covered is when I start kind of using that brush. I'm also using a soft cloth and some velvet, like this is a little velvet type of cleaner to get all of that extra gilding off and to kind of burnish that gilding into place. So this is a new item for me. This is Amy Howard's new matte finish, and this is amazing. This is the first time I've used this, and I wasn't quite sure, but I wanted that sleigh to stay that really matte red. I just thought that matte red against that gold leafing was just so beautiful. So I wanted it to be as matte as I could keep it. So I just decided to take a chance with this finish and use this. I'm not going over the gilding. I'm just actually going over that red part going around the gilding. If I get some on there, I'm not too worried, but I want to make sure I'm staying clear of that for the most part. Look at that. So matte. It just is amazing. This is my new favorite matte finish, and I will be using this on everything that I want to look matte. It's just gorgeous. I really, really love the way this turned out. So elegant. That gold against that red is just perfection. So project two, I will say off the bat is my favorite. I got this from the Goodwill, and it's just a white ceramic Santa Claus. So again, I'm going to grab that Amy Howard's at home gilding size, and I'm not going to go over everything. I'm just going to go over the top, his crown of holly leaves and berries. I'm just going to go over that part. So once that sizing has become clear, well, you can't tell because it's white, but once it's become tacky, then again, I'm going to grab that gold gilding gold leaf, and I'm just going to apply that, first applying that and then making sure I get it down in all the cracks. Then using a soft brush is when I'll go back and actually start burnishing that into place. So that's how that turned out. And for this, I'm done. I didn't actually put a coating over this either. So I'm going to use this IOD arched wood plaque and the Fusion Manor Green paint. And this is actually just like a little sample bottle that I got. I didn't need a whole lot. I've actually used this for other projects, if that tells you how far this little bottle will go. So at first I decided that I was just going to go around the outside of that. And then I decided that I was just going to go ahead and paint the whole thing. You know, my mind is working as I'm working, so I'm kind of changing my mind as I go. So I decided to grab DIY Golden Ticket, and I'm going to do the inside border of that plaque. So I just began to put that on there, making sure that I have really good coverage and I'm not kind of putting that everywhere and being kind of careful about how I'm putting that down. Once I got that down, I was not too happy with it, so I decided to put a second coat on there. I wanted that gold to be a lot brighter so it matched the gold leaf. So I went ahead and grabbed my Empire Gold gilding wax and decided to kind of put that over. So you could see there the difference in the shine, and I was happier with that. So I went ahead and used that gilding wax to go over the whole border of that. The shine on there is it just made such a big difference, and I was really happy with the way that turned out. So once I have that all done, I'm just going to set that aside, and I grabbed this red, it's like a deep red burgundy type velvet, and it has sticky backing on it. So I just kind of open it up, see what I'm working with, because this is the first time that I've ever use this. So I'm gonna make a template using this scrap of paper and a pencil, and I'm just kind of marking that inner part of this plaque just so that it gives me an idea of where I need to kind of cut those pieces out. So once I have it done, and you could see the outline there, I'm just gonna grab that and do a rough cut around it, just to kind of get down closer to where I need to be. So once I get that rough cut done, then I'm going to use my scissors again and just make a template go around exactly where I marked, and then I'm just kind of measuring back and forth and seeing where I need to cut so that it fits inside of that plaque. So now that I have that exactly where I want it, I'm going to put that onto my red velvet and cut that out as well. I was going to try to kind of work around it and tape it down, but then I just kind of decided, why am I kind of doing that the hard way? So I just actually took off the backing of that and expose the sticky part of it, and then I'm just going to lay that template down. Once I have that down where I want, I just make sure that I smooth that really well, and then I just proceed to cut around that template. And I'm just looking to see that everything fits well. I'm gonna grab my Titebond because I'm just gonna go ahead and use this because I want to make sure that it's down well. I squeeze some out there. I'm actually going to spread this with a brush, and then I just felt like it was a little bit too thick, so I go ahead and give it a couple of spritz of water to help move that glue around a little bit easier. Once I have that whole thing covered, I just go and grab that velvet and push it down into place. I'm just making sure everything's fitting well, getting it as centered as I can, pushing down all the edges there, and making sure that it has an even cohesion. So I set that aside, and I wanted to decorate the outside of that frame, so I grabbed the gold transfers. I grabbed the gold transfers from IOD, and this is the tinsel gold transfers, and I'm just cutting out the snowflakes in that set, and I'm gonna arrange those around the outside where I think I want those. When I first started applying those, I planned on kind of applying those all, around this way. But then at the end, what I started doing is kind of cutting those in half so I can randomly put them and they don't look all so uniformed. So you'll see at the end where I've cut those here and there, and I just think that it has a better look this way. So then putting that in the center, I was really happy with that, but then I wanted to add an extra touch around that border so you didn't see where that red velvet ended. So I just strung some really beautiful pearls there on some heavier thread, and then using my glue gun, I just glued that into place. The reason I strung those on the thread was because it kept them tighter in place and they look a lot neater, and I didn't have to worry about the opening of that bead coming through. It just works a lot easier. It's a lot faster also to get those down. So just a little tip for you. I just think putting them one on one here, and then you have more of a chance of them becoming uneven. So putting that back into place just looks so much better. This actually, like I said, it's my favorite. I love it. I actually just glued that down with some hot glue. It stuck really well. It wasn't budging at all. This is gorgeous. It came out gorgeous. I'm just so happy with this. Like, I've had this Santa plaque running around my house for the last 3 years. I never knew what I was going to do with it. So let's move on to project 3. It's a really simple project. I found this kind of caddy at the Goodwill, and it has a crack at the bottom. It doesn't really matter. I think this was originally from World Market. It's super heavy with metal handles, and so I'm just going to kind of wipe everything off, and using some Yuletide transfers, I'm going to go through these and see what I want to use. I decide that the little finches in here are just so cute, so I decided that that's what I was going to use. I'm going to cut out all the little finches that are in this set and place them around this caddy. My husband actually stole this from me and is going to give it to his mom for Christmas because she always has little pet finches. Every year she gets new ones and she just loves them so much. So this is the perfect gift for her. So I just placed those around. I didn't use any kind of wax or anything on here. I will probably go back and put like a wax coating on there just to make sure that those transfers hold up. But I just kind of wasn't sure if I wanted to do like a whole, like a liquid coating on there, but I'm loving that Amy Howard flat, so I might just go ahead and do a coating of that just so that the wear and tear on this doesn't get too bad. Project 4 is a different take on the whole gingerbread house thing that was going on, that is on trend this year. So I had these from a couple of years ago. I got them from the Target dollar spot, and they are just the little white ceramic houses. I think 2 of them have lights inside, but so I'm just going to paint these with layered chocolate from DIY Paint. I'm going to put in a lot of that baking soda just so that I get a lot of that kind of texture, cookie texture, and it sticks well. 2 of these have kind of like a matte finish on them, and then 2 of them are more of a slick. So that baking soda is going to kind of help adhere that to that more slick surface. And using my brush, I just kind of go around and pounce that on here and there. Like I said, I did add quite a bit of the baking soda to this, so it's doing a really good job in giving that texture. I did 2 coats on these homes. The first coat covered really well, and the second one I just kind of used to touch up those places that I felt needed it. So once that was dry, I grabbed my puff paint from Tulip, and I'm going to use that. I actually printed off some sample designs that I thought would give me some good ideas, and that's what I'm showing you here. You can get these off Pinterest or anything like that, just to kind of give you some ideas for decorating. And so just looking those over using the Tulip puffy paint, I just grab that and I go to work. I also grabbed some iridescent glitter, more fine glitter, just because I wanted to look like that kind of confectioner's sugar that they sometimes sprinkle on the icing to give it that little, glittery look that's really pretty. So I'm just going to put down the Tulip puff paint, and then I'm going to sprinkle some of that glitter over it while it's wet. This adheres really well. It looks so pretty. It gives it that nice glittery, showy look, and it actually does look like icing. So I just do parts of each house, letting that dry kind of in between, and then go back to the first house and then work on that a little bit. So I just kind of went through all 4 of the houses, just finishing up each side as I went. With this, it doesn't have to be perfect. You want it to look more like real Christmas gingerbread cookie design, and so you're working with that confectioner's frosting and stuff like that. So it doesn't have to be perfect, and any way you put it on there, it's gonna look gorgeous. It's gonna look natural and gorgeous, and I just love the way these came out. I actually put these around my tree that I have on my island, and you can see the ornaments that I made, which I will link my ornament series down below so you can watch those and see how a lot of these ornaments are made that are on this tree. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today, and I know how busy we all are, and for you to stop in and watch my video, it just means so much. This is my last craft video for the year, and I will see you next year, and we have so much to look forward to.